So the United States is again backing a right-wing coup, not a left-wing coup, but a right-wing coup in Venezuela. Why do we care so much about Venezuela? I don't know. Oil? They got more oil than Saudi Arabia? Maybe that's why we give a crap about Venezuela. And the way this works is the United States, just if you read Smedley Butler, General Smedley Butler, who wrote the book War is a Racket, he'll tell you how this works. So American corporations, and they wanted to get a hold of their natural resources. So first they put sanctions on them, and then they wreck their economy, help wreck their economy that way. Then they go, look, their people are revolting because they're having such horrible leadership, and we have to save them. And so that's what's so that's what's happening, and this happens over and over again. Nancy Pelosi, here's how the corrupt neoliberals in America are reacting. America stands by the people of Venezuela as they rise up against authoritarian rule and demand respect for human rights and democracy. The people voted in a democratic election, and they voted in that Maduro, and now you want to overthrow him with a coup. You're not standing with the people. Again, Nancy Pelosi's a liar, and she's a corrupt liar, transparent. You're not standing with the people. You're standing with the right-wing coup that's to overthrow a democratically elected government. You want to fix Venezuela? Why don't you fix Flint? Why don't you fix 30 million Americans don't have health care? Why don't you fix 80% of the workers live paycheck to paycheck? You're going to go fix Venezuela? You liar.
Well, it depends on how you look at it, Jimmy. I mean, one could also argue that they're spreading democracy by undermining Venezuela's democracy.
That's right. That's a great point, Rod. That's how you spread democracy. You undermine democracy. So I just said this is what corruption looks like. Bought neoliberals hiding behind the old bullshit of, quote, standing up for the people as you overthrow another democratically elected government of a country rich with oil. America needs the revolution. America needs the revolution. And, hey, guess what? I wonder who's been getting smeared lately as, oh, look, she's against the regime change in Venezuela, too. She's consistent. Tulsi Gabbard says the United States needs to stay out of Venezuela. Let the Venezuelan people determine their future. We don't want other countries to choose our leaders, so we have to stop trying to choose theirs. That sounds like common sense, but it's like a radical thing to say. That's a radical thing to say. Common sense now. That's how corrupted our government and our media are. Here is Ilhan Omar, and she is from Minnesota. Is congressperson from Minnesota. There it is, Minnesota's 5th district. We cannot handpick leaders for other countries on behalf of multinational corporate interests. The legislature cannot seize power from the president, and Venezuela's Supreme Court has declared their actions unconstitutional. We can't afford to get involved in costly interventions abroad when tens of millions struggle to access housing, health care, and clean water right here at home. U.S. meddling abroad always ends badly for us and the people we claim to be liberating. Always. Can you point to a success story? Look what we did for the people in Vietnam. Look what we did for the people in Iraq. Look for what we did for the people in Afghanistan. Look for what we did for the people in Libya. We liberated them. Look what we did for the people in Syria. Dropped 26,000 bombs on them and helped and tried to get ISIS to take over their country. If we really want to support the Venezuelan people, we can lift the economic sanctions that are inflicting suffering on innocent families, making it harder for them to access food and medicines, and deepening the economic crisis. We should support dialogue, not a coup. And so when she tweeted that out, someone who I guess works for RT tweeted her thread out and said, this is a good take on Venezuela. So you remember how so then what happens? So this woman says, that's a great thread of this Democratic Congresswoman from Minnesota. And then she immediately gets smeared by one of these neocon neoliberal in the tank CIA repeater bullshitter. He says another day and another questionable tweet by that congresswoman. In this case, boosting praise from Rania, who has written many times for RT, Kremlin-controlled media. So someone who wrote stuff for RT retweeted her, and that makes her guilty of something. And that guy has a blue check, and he's not shamed out of polite society. Black is white, up is down, in is out. This guy, that's about the scummiest thing you could do. That guy has a blue check. Can you believe that? Like that is not only a stretch, that's a stretch and a leap and a black flip with a kick. What are you doing? Are you kidding me? That's a guy with a blue check. Grown-up person. Grown up.
This has been going on for about 2 years now. And when he cites somebody from MSNBC, does he refer to it as Comcast-controlled media?
Or somebody from PBS that comes from American government-controlled media?
What's BBC?
Or BBC, the BBC.
UK-controlled media?
I mean, they're the biggest Russiagate propaganda. All the establishment media, BBC, they push the conspiracies in Syria that somehow Assad is gassing his own people as he's winning the war. The BBC pushes that. And when people high up in the British military push back against that, they smear them just like this. This is amazing. This is the world we're living in. So now you know why we have a show. Again, all my comedian friends are flabbergasted. Like, what's Jimmy? What are you doing? No, this is what's going on. Literally, just stuff. They did movies about stuff like this and wrote books about it. We all laughed about it. And now people like this do it. Isn't that weird?
This whole thing's been weird. I mean, even the conversations I've been having with people, they're like, well, Ron, in Venezuela, the elections aren't great. And I was like, the elections aren't great here. A military intervention sure as hell isn't going to help anything.
The person who got 3 million fewer votes is our president.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if that happened in another country?
Yeah, no kidding. Like, so you want a military intervention to come here now? Is that going to fix everything?
The FBI just admitted last week on TV that their mission is to keep progressives and Democrats out of elected office. That was admitted on national television, and it's not even a scandal. Could you imagine if he said that about right-wingers? They would be on the front page of everything, always, for the next 2 years. So there you go. So that's what's happening with this Venezuela thing. It's way more. It happened to Ro Khanna. I'm going to do another video about what they did to Ro Khanna. They're doing it to everybody. This is the only acceptable position. The only acceptable position is this: you're for a coup because then we get that oil away from those dirty socialists. And there's lots more to talk about this. We're going to have Mike Pricer and Abby Martin on, who are down in Venezuela tomorrow. They'll be on the show to talk about this. But this is it's getting ugly. And this is your Democratic leadership. All the Democrats voted for her for speaker, all the progressives. Her. This is what they're supporting. What's the difference between this guy and her and Mitch You're supporting regime change again. We're announcing our live dates for 2019. We're going to Chicago and Portland, Seattle, New York, all over the country. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link for all our tickets to all our shows. It'll be right underneath there, too. Please become a patron if you like our content and help support the show. You can become a patron for $5 a month, and we give you hours of bonus material. And make sure you're subscribed. They unsubscribe people every day. I'm not kidding. Make sure you're subscribed and click that bell so they give you a notice when we drop a video. It's the only thing we can do to fight back against the bastards. Thanks for your support.